Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. We're now, the conference is over and we're in the pub, basically, in this pub called The Grapes, which is just around the corner from the venue. And the last speaker, which was Dan Sherman, who was, I think it was quite truncated, his speech, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically Dan has a story to tell, but because it seems like everybody else we've seen in every other conference has more to say on the subject, or they have an opinion around the subject. Dan Sherman did a job for the NSA, and that's what he did. He did a job. After he left it, he has no interest in the subject or anything like that. So, like I say, it was a very fragmented section. He was down for 2 hours. His talk seemed very brief. And then he did take a lot of questions, but in all fairness, because he doesn't have an interest or doesn't read around in whatever it was he did, he doesn't have a lot of answers to give people, which I thought was it was a bit of a wet squib, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, his bus fare was the biggest of all, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think maybe he's sort of, it was like anti-climax, I think, perhaps, to the conference. But I mean, he was basically. I mean, I only saw the first part of his show because I had to go out to do another bit of filming. That section I did about Mike Oram was basically. I thought he's going to be up for. He's booked for 2 hours, so I'll go out. I'll do 20 minutes just filming Mike Oram, chatting to a couple of people. I'll go back in. I'll soon pick his speech up again. Anyway. What do you know? I'll come back in. I was talking to someone. Oh, he's finished. He's on the Q&A, and I thought he's travelled all this way just for that. He talked for maybe for 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit of a drag.
Yeah. About his story. We're going to talk about Bryce Zabel.
Yes. Now, Bryce Zabel is a. Let me just get my. He's he was in last year, wasn't he?
He was instrumental in writing the series Dark Skies, which
is
your viewers might be aware of.
No, that's quite a good series.
Dark Skies is a very, very good series because what he did, he wrote it with the actual story of ufology. If you dig into ufology and you do a lot of work on it, you'll find that the stories in Dark Skies he's weaved a bit of fiction through there, but he's actually stuck to the Majestic 12 rhetoric, which I thought was very clever. It's a good way to get it out, but at the same time it Hollywoodizes the whole thing. So is it a good thing? We don't know. But Bryce Zabel is an interesting fella, Bryce Zabel.
Yeah. Bryce Zabel also co-wrote the book. He co-wrote a book called AD After Disclosure, which we've discussed before. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, we're just doing a little bit of movie making. And now the thing is, though, Bryce made some comments, didn't he, on his website shortly after.
UFOs and 9/11 don't mix.
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, in the same breath, they don't mix, because when you get somebody who doesn't know anything about 9/11 or UFOs, they're going to be scared off by this information overload. So I agree with it in principle, but at the same time, if you reveal one thing, you've got to reveal them all. You can't just reveal one cover-up and not reveal all the rest of them. So in a sense, he's right, but in another way, he's not right.
Precisely.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Filming that, but do you think that 9/11 and aliens are mixed?
No, it's the fact that when we talk about a lot of the things, but
yes, I'm glad you.
That's what I think.
Yeah, me too.
Because I seen a thing about all the steel, and I know through building the way that building, even the Empire State Building, right? It was built how long before it got crashed into by a plane as well.
Yeah. Well, it was.
That plane couldn't have brought down then. No way. Because I know about steel girders. It's all fireproofed. Everything. They even said the fuel that used it couldn't melt the beams like the way this has been melted.
I mean, that building completely turned to dust basically in mid-air. It just fell apart in terms of dust.
I know.
Yeah, it's very true.
And I've listened to the call. No, the most worst thing is the calls.
Oh yeah, I listened to
that fella who's stuck above, and she's going, calm down. He said, he's even breathing. And he's going, you can say that in an air-conditioned office. Saying, but he could no way out. And that last thing you heard was.
Well, that's very, very sad. But I mean, the point of the matter, I think, is he was very, very close to the fire. And if the fire was as hot as what they're saying it is, he should have been incinerated at the point where he was standing. Yet he could stand and put in reasonable comfort and make a phone call. Rick Rascola, who's a guy at the Morgan and Stanley offices on the 74th floor, just below. He again make a phone call. He was just below. He was about 60 feet below the fire. The fire was that bad. He would have been incinerated if he was in that office
All
immediately.
it is, gives them an excuse to get in and get the oil and extrapolate. That's what it is.
That's
It's all
it. I'm
down
glad
to
you.
money.
I'm glad you.
That's,
Yeah.
that's all it's down to.
Yeah.
in the end.
Well, I'm
And
glad
that's
you.
what they've done all the time. They're still doing it.
Yep.
And even Michael Moore's people like that.
Either 9/11 is
Yep.
wrong,
I'm glad you.
on
I'm glad you see that, mate.
dynamics. Newtonian physics, as we know it, is wrong, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I believe Newtonian physics still because it's very
Yeah.
well tested. Whereas
Well, it
the-
works, doesn't it? Yeah.
The 9/11 emission report
Hello.
did not even mention World Trade Center 7.
Yeah.
And that,
That's
I
right.
think that's the main thing. But
Yes.
I think we're going off on a tangent here.
No, it's
We're
fair enough.
talking
These
about-
gentlemen wanted to know what we were talking
Yeah.
about, which is fair enough. We always talk to people.
Sorry, lad. You from Newcastle?
I'm from Newcastle, but I live in London. Yeah.
I come from Oxford. I come here for the conference. Yeah, I come for the
camera,
Oxford. This is a HPANWO TV. Yeah. Yeah. It's. Oh yeah.
I don't know, maybe they probably should have known about it.
I think
George
somebody
Bush
knew
probably
about it.
knew about it, but the oil, and he knew maybe
Well,
if this happened.
George Bush is nothing more than as Ian Crane,
Just
He's a puppet.
A capo. He's a capo.
Yeah.
Just a
I mean, the guy's as thick
Yeah.
as shit. I mean, the idea that he was running the country is ridiculous. And the guy can hardly tie his shoelaces.
Yeah.
The
You know,
man's an
he
idiot.
is.
The man's an idiot.
What
I
do
mean,
you think
only-
about the problems in Darfur? If you get on that horse, you gotta ride it.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He couldn't
George?
even remember the name of the Prime Minister of Canada, and the Prime Minister was called Jean Chrétien at the time, and he couldn't even remember his bloody name. And this is in the country next door to him. The guy.
He's an idiot. He's a weed smoker.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Well, weed smokers usually wiser. But anyway, we're talking about Bryce Zabel. Now, the irony is that Bryce Zabel is basically, he's got a point in a sense that you don't want to overload people with information, but the idea that you should avoid a topic when these topics I think these topics are linked.
That actually linked
UFOs
through-
and 9/11
through
is
it.
linked.
Well, the tedious link is the military
Sorry, what's your
industrial complex. I'm Rich.
Rich and Michael.
You're right, Michael.
Ben, hi, Michael.
Well, go on then.
Yeah.
UFOs.
Yeah.
Well,
to
yeah,
aliens
the
and all that.
tedious link in it, like you say, UFOs 9/11 is linked, and it's linked through the military-industrial complex. Because if anybody knows something about 9/11, if anybody knows something about UFOs, it's them.
Yeah. And the irony is, right, there's a guy I knew who was head of the Oxford 9/11 Truth movement in Oxford. And I was involved with them and for a while, but I never felt very welcome, and this guy didn't make me feel very welcome. And I've turned out that he objected to my interest in UFOs. And the irony is,
Do you data everything you do on the camera?
not absolutely everything, but I run something called HPANWO TV, which is an internet TV station, which is you're going to be on. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, Michael.
Am I
Michael.
gonna get paid?
I'm afraid not. I don't.
Hey, I was told I was gonna get paid.
I'm sorry, I don't. Neither you won't either. No, but basically, this guy, Ian, he objected to my interest in UFOs for the same reason that Bryce Zabel objects to people's interest in 9/11. He said, "You're going to put people off. You're going to make us sound like loonies." And I thought that's incredibly ironic. And both Bryce Zabel and Ian, they both believe in different things. In fact, they both dislike each other's views, but they both believe that we should stick to their own views for the same reasons.
Yeah.
And I say we have to address these things together and understand that they're linked. Now, Andrew Johnson and Ian Crane, they understand this, you know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. We do need to unlift the veil, and when we lift the veil, you'll find out the truth about 7/7, 9/11, what happened to Diana, if the royal family are who exactly they say they are, and most
Absolutely, yeah.
importantly, what happened on 9/11 and what the truth is about UFOs. You need to lift the veil on the whole damn thing. You can't just lift it and say, well, we'll take that bit, but we're not really interested in what's behind here and here. You need the whole demographic of the subject.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the subject has been labelled with that bullshit word conspiracy, which should really be unofficial theories. Official theories and unofficial theories.
Well, you know, as David Wright.
You're never gonna get the truth. Seriously, now.
Truth will come out one day.
No,
It,
no,
truth
you
will
don't
come
reckon?
out
I'll
one
tell
day.
you, he no problem know nothing about what we're talking about. But I'll tell you now, you'll never get the truth. Because it's all down to money, and it's all down to getting into countries, and that's what it's all about.
I think you're right.
That's what I think it's all
I
about.
think you're right. We won't get the
And it's not
truth
about
through. We
politics.
won't get the truth through official
They're not politicians, these
officialdom,
people,
but
they're
we'll
warmongering,
get the truth out through witness testimony, through dribs and drabs of information, and getting that information out to the public,
Yeah.
which is what we're doing now. Which,
Yeah.
which you find
I think at the end of
Where I was going on before, saying the steel, the way it, there's no way. that plane took them two down.
I think what it would take for us to get the truth would be for us basically, three human beings have to rebel against this Illuminati. I mean, the highest level there are occult black magicians, the Illuminati.
All I think about is,
So what do you think on 2012
we
then?
should all just get together, have a revolution. People get together. Revolution. It's never going to happen. It would have happened years ago. It's not going to happen
Do you
ever.
think that the world
They should have.
2012?
What's your name anyway?
James Brown. and that's seriously
Ben.
Brown.
Yeah, watch me.
I'm from South.
James and Michael, yeah.
And before what I'm saying about politics, I don't know why I'm like this. My mum in the 90s was a militant councillor at Labour for all the Toxteth. My granddad before her, me uncles, they're all socialists, all left wing. Do you know what I mean?
You had this big rebellion here, didn't you? In the 1980s, there was a big rebellion.
No
here.
work. It's that what's happening now. This government now, David Cameron, just as bad as Margaret Thatcher and that.
Well, whether you're talking the Tories,
They got
Labour,
Liverpool was the
they're
busiest.
all the same.
One of the busiest.
Oh, this
dots.
is notes. It's just sort of like
That's
notes.
really- my granddad
Sorry?
was a doc- You don't-
There's nothing in
it's
there
not
really.
doctors anymore.
To be interested you, it's just
Liverpool's a port
notes
and
on
has been
me.
since the fucking
Sorry, but
whenever.
I have published. If you wanna go to HPANWO.
Back, it's easy. One
No,
of
no,
them.
mate.
One of
No.
them.
If you wanna go to hpanwo.blogspot.com, that's my website.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. My nana took got out.
Okay.
My dad was a doctor.
Okay, if you've got any questions, just email.
That's
From me.
Richard's.
Do you know what? I will actually have a little
Right,
bit.
yeah.
Liverpool one. That's okay.
Can I put that in the bag, Richard?
Yeah, sure.
Right,
My auntie lives in Hardy
You need to have one of these.
Everybody knows
I could, I should get some printed actually, but it's HP.
Yeah, Rich, right. That's me email.
Shall I write mine on the back? I'll write mine on the back. Okay. Kill that for me. Thanks, mate. Cheers. All right. Oh well, I'll tell you what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say I'm totally convinced, but Marlene, I believe.
Ian Aisley lives a couple of doors from our Marlene. Maureen McHale lives
HPANWO. That's Hospital Port Against the New World Order. If you Google that, you'll get it. And there's a radio station, there's a TV channel, and there's a forum, there's all kinds of things. Thanks, mate, thank you. I think we're nearly out of battery,
If
actually.
I Google HPANWO,
HPANWO, yeah.
you all come up your
Mine will come up, yeah. And it's all on there, including
what's your name again?
Ben.
Sorry. Ben.
including this what we're filming here today will be up in a couple of days, yeah. So that's Michael.
Don't really have to put me in your show. I'm just I am interested.
Well-
I'm not as.
Well, thanks for contributing, and James as well. You know, thanks to both of you for contributing.
Too much interested. Tonight.
Thank you, and you, yeah, and you too, man. Yeah. Richard, I should thank you as well. Thank you for being the other half of my platonic dialogue
Yes.
over this conference.
Quite a lot of dialogue. This
Yeah.
one. Hopefully there'll be even more to come in August.
Definitely.
Definitely more to come in August.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
No worries. I might have to charge me. I have to charge this when I get to your place because I want to do the souvenirs video. So.
Okay. No worries.
Well,
We'll see you then.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hospital Port's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.
Well, not